Were you able to snag one yet? Let us know in the comments, but more importantly, the Sony PlayStation 5. Is it worth it? The PS5 proved to be one of the most coveted items of the 2020 holiday shopping season, and well into 2021, it was still very difficult to find. But getting past the hype, what are you actually getting in this new console that's better than the PS4 Pro? With limited exclusive titles for the new console, can I justify getting my greedy little paws on one of these gaming systems if I can do just about everything else with a PS4 right now? These are the big questions a lot of us have that I'm going to answer in the second half of the video. But first, a product review. Now, a quick disclaimer, we already know that there is an Xbox Series X and S along with PC gaming options, but for the sake of simplicity, we're just gonna leave those off the table and focus on Sony consoles. The PlayStation 5 was announced on September 16th, 2020 and was released on November 12th. I say released in quotes because it's been difficult, if not impossible, for many fans to get their hands on one. Now, Sony has said the console has sold 4.5 million units in 2020, but a large number of those have been picked up by scalpers, which we will talk about later in the video. The PlayStation 5 consoles were just released in disc and digital editions, and they're better than the PS4 and the PS4 Pros in basically every way, as they should be. We all know the PS4 was released by Sony back in 2013 and the Pro came out in 2016. And when it comes to technology and how fast it progresses, that's like basically the Stone Age. As I mentioned a second ago, the PS5 comes in two different flavors. The standard edition, which you see here, which includes a disc drive and is capable of playing Ultra HD Blu-rays. And there's also the digital only edition, which comes in cheaper at $399. Both are basically the same dimensions, with the digital edition being about half an inch thinner. The only non-upgrade that confuses and surprises me is a downgrade in storage space from 1 terabyte on the PS4 Pro to 825 gigabytes on the 5. What gives, Sony? Did you decide we don't need the extra space? According to an article from PSU, that's exactly it. The PS5 has a cutting-edge storage solution that's basically married to the CPU, and it's so streamlined and efficient in its data processing that they stuck to a lower storage to get the maximum speed. But as of now, that's still more of a negative than a positive because system file storage actually drops the available space for you to save games down to 667 gigabytes. And the release of external storage for the PS5 games is currently delayed until further notice. Come on, it's 2021, Sony. If you can't figure out 1 terabyte, you better have a good reason. I need the ability to store 20 save files for Final Fantasy along with 30 plus other titles. I don't care if that sounds excessive, figure it out. All right, I'm getting too much into the weeds. When it comes to hardware, we're not gonna go too much into specifics except that the PS5 is a speed demon, nailing basically every category when it comes to the PS4 and the PS4 Pro. It has a much faster CPU and GPU, double the RAM, an unbelievably fast SSD, a UHD drive compared to the standard Blu-ray drive, and better video output at 4K 120Hz with the potential for 8K gaming one day. But how is gaming on the console? It's amazing, as it should be on a $500 next-gen console. Sony's newest controller, the DualSense 5, is a game changer. Literally, games feel different while playing it. The controller now includes adaptive triggers, improved haptics, and a built-in microphone. The adaptive triggers mean that different games can create a tension depending on the game. Astro's Playroom, which comes free and pre-installed on the console, is an absolute delight and demonstrates all these new features perfectly. In the climbing levels with the monkey suit, you get this satisfying feedback every time you grip lock one of the holds on the mountain. Kotaku said, it's extraordinarily effective, incredibly well-made propaganda. It presents all of Sony's history as iconic, world-changing, adored by the masses, the tiny robot masses, celebrated in displays of grandeur and unquestioning adoration. I concur. I personally loved the game and would recommend it to everyone who purchases the console. Kid-friendly, adult-relevant, how can you go wrong? But how about the other PS5 exclusives? At the time of this filming, there aren't a lot of options available. We have Demon's Souls and Destruction All-Stars, both retailing for $70. Those, along with Astro's Playroom, are the only 3 games that you can play on the PS5 that aren't available on any other console or PC at this time. Now, of course, there are other PS5 exclusive titles that will be released in the next few months, but today we're extremely limited, which brings us to our big question. At this point of time, is the PlayStation 5 worth it? Well, first off, I take serious issue with these next-gen console price hikes. $70? It's like the price of a new game goes up $10 with every new console. First it was $40, then $50, then $60 for like the last 15 years, but now $70 for a PS5 game in the middle of an economic meltdown and COVID? Why hasn't there been a revolt yet? I suggested I have greedy little paws, but what about the game developers? Sheesh, you got microtransactions. You know I'm gonna spend that extra money on dumb DLC anyways, like a giant purple mohawk or a tiny sombrero for my barbarian warlord. It's honestly kind of surprising that the PS5 didn't cost at least $600, so I mean, I tip my tiny little sombrero to you for that one, Sony. But $500 is still a lot when you have a perfectly good PS4. Am I right? This is actually a tough one to answer. If you can find a PS5 at retail price and don't already own a PS4 or PS4 Pro, I say go for it. A lot of PS4 games are receiving patches to run higher frame rates and better visuals, like 2018's God of War. The problem is that scalpers apparently have a direct line to all the merchants because it is impossible to get your hands on one of these. Now, according to Tom's guide, scalpers are allegedly only purchasing about 10 to 15% of the consoles sold in the US, but that's still 675,000 consoles that scalpers have snatched. Resale prices are averaging at like $7.99 for digital and $8.49 for the disc edition. It's crazy. What makes that answer tough though is that PS4s are also hard to find. Before COVID, we were seeing new PS4s for as low as $199, and the PS4 Pro consoles were going for about $280. But once COVID sent us into lockdown mode, everybody in America realized they were actually a gamer, and we collectively bought up all the consoles just like we did workout equipment, cleaning supplies, and toilet paper. It was a weird year. Since last spring, console deals on the PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch have all been pretty difficult to find, and at times you're lucky if you can even get them in stock at MSRP. I know when our editor bought his PS5, he sold his PS4 Pro for $300, which is even more than you paid for it, right, Austin? Yep. That stock problem is the main reason why I'm even recommending trying to purchase a PS5 at this time. The console is still new and is lacking in a few areas like support for Dolby Vision and Atmos, along with a few other formats. I don't know if it's really worth the $499 price tag that Sony is requesting, which currently brings me to, if you own a PS4 or a PS4 Pro, hold off on updating to the PS5. The lack of exclusives and the fact that they're still working on some of the bugs, along with it being difficult to even purchase, is what leads me to that conclusion. A lot of the new games this year are also going to be released on the PS4. I mean, looking back, the PlayStation 3 came out in 2006, and the last major title for it was FIFA 19 that came out in 2018, 12 years after the release of the console. The PlayStation 4 still has plenty of life left in it, as proved with some gorgeous games released in the last few years, like Marvel's Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn, and 2020's beautiful Ghost of Tsushima. So, just to be extra clear, the PS5, is it worth it? If you already have a PS4 or Pro, no. If you don't and you need a PlayStation, yes. Thank you guys for watching this video, and please subscribe for more ideas on how to shop smart. Also, let us know in the comments what you want to see next, because we care about what you have to say. I'm Pete King. See you guys next time.